Hi, everybody. My name's Jason Snart. I'm here with my colleague.
Amy Camp.
We are both professors of English at the College of DuPage, which is a two-year college just outside of Chicago in Glen Ellen, Illinois. And we are here to talk you through, in a fairly unscripted way, our project from fall of 2024 that we called Create and Connect. We used a couple of apps that we'll talk a little bit about. We will go over some implementation stuff, talk about some student feedback that we got, and then maybe provide some takeaways for further thought and also some ways to follow up with us and engage if you are interested.
All right, so we participated in a student success pilot where we were using two digital tools within our courses, Remind and Padlet. So Remind is a text messaging system that delivers messages to students' native text device on their cell phones. And Padlet you can think of as a digital corkboard, which allows students as well as instructors to post in various modes, text, video, audio clips. We also administered a survey early on to gauge students' interest and the effectiveness of these tools.
Our group text messaging tool, we just as teachers know that students are not often necessarily checking email or not in a super timely fashion. So even if they are on top of things, so the text was going directly to their native device, like Amy said, usually a mobile phone. And again, it's like right there, something that they're doing pretty frequently.
So I sent generally at least a weekly announcement. I also used it for any last minute changes. So if I had to change a due date or there was some kind of course correct.
How we use Remind, Amy talked a little bit about this already. Frequent messaging, whether it's weekly or for me, it's almost daily, maybe every other day. And one thing that you'll notice here in our survey, students appreciated the content, just the basic like reminder feature of Remind, but also they did actually note when we struck that more supportive or friendly tone. So again, it's not just the content, it's kind of that ability to connect with students as well.
Yeah, so really nothing in the way of significantly negative here. Majority found that it positively impacted their learning experience. A lot of students noted that it kept them on track. Um, I personally work with a lot of neurodivergent students, and a lot of ADHD students really appreciated that extra. I think on the next slide, Jason, a student notes that it acted as kind of, yeah, there it is, like a fail safe, you
Mhm.
know.
And so we weren't totally surprised. It kind of like confirmed what we were suspecting with implementation of this particular app is that it would help them stay organized. They would like the fact that it's just right there on their phone as a text message as opposed to like an email or some other form of communication that they're not necessarily doing as often. That acting as the fail-safe. And then something that sort of emerged here that's inferred maybe is that it could potentially be helping with students' sort of anxiety or stress level as well, just knowing that they have that fail-safe or knowing that, they're confirming a due date or just feeling more confident about their progress and their work through a class. So our takeaways were basically these. Amy, do you want to take these? Take away the
Sure.
takeaways?
So it was definitely a tool that exhibited little to any barriers. It's super, not much that students have to do on their end. It wasn't difficult on our end. It helped them stay on track. So how did we make the actual content interesting and engaging and help peers engage with each other? And that's where Padlet came in.
So here is Padlet. As we described earlier, it's kind of a digital corkboard. And again, why Padlet? We were looking for something that would offer versatility to really facilitate collaboration, hopefully in facilitating both sort of easy access to the technology or easy use of the technology and that opportunity to see what others were doing, to access course content, to collaborate with classmates. It would unlock a degree of creativity. We were obviously concerned with accessibility. And again, It's mobile friendly, which was really important to us. An excellent tool for universal design and user experience thinking. So it really fit the bill for all of these things that we were overarchingly kind of concerned about.
I used it about 8 different Padlets for a lot of those uses listed on the left. I have to say that probably for me, the two features of Padlet that, or the reason why that tech tool, and I can't think of another one that quite mimics it, is because of the level of flexibility.
And so part of our survey also included asking students about that. Again, uh, generally very positive or positive impact. A couple of, negative responses, a little bit more of the no opinion that we saw with Remind, but we have some theories about that that we'll get to in just a sec here. Here's some of the qualitative feedback. The very last one here kind of hits the nail on the head. It's nice to see others' opinions, and you can help your classmates. That's a pretty great student sentiment. Here's some more. Amy, if you want to take these ones.
Yeah, and I did want to note that again in those online contexts, how important it is to feel like you're not at it alone. And I
Mhm.
think Padlet does that in a really friendly, interesting way. Overall, it felt like students were pinpointing exactly what we were seeing with what is available with it, that they were connecting with their peers. So they're not just getting feedback from us, they're getting feedback from their peers. Just seeing their peers' works helps them think better.
Some of the more negative or mixed reactions, but we ultimately speculated that while all of that is certainly true, or potentially true, because of when we administered the survey, and unlike Remind, where we might have been using that on at least a weekly, if not almost daily basis, Padlet, in terms of how some in the pilot group implemented, maybe students had only encountered it once. So it could easily just feel like another extra extraneous thing that wasn't being used repeatedly or wasn't really being used strategically or intentionally. So we think it's has a lot of potential, but as always, would come back to like that intentional use is really what matters. And here are generally our takeaways. A lot of them the same as with Remind, Amy, like those few
Right.
barriers to use, the effective organization. What else do you see here?
I really like that kind of multimodal
Yeah.
opportunity for engagement. If you all contribute to our shared Padlet at the end, you'll see that it offers so many different ways that you can engage. Definitely is facilitating that student-student interaction, um, and mobile friendly, which I think is important. Both, I guess, in both contexts, face to face or online, it's really easy to get the students to the Padlet. They can do it from a desktop, but they also can just take a screenshot of a QR code and get to it,
Yeah.
um, which I think is pretty great.
Yeah, it's great for getting the learning outside of either the digital classroom or the physical classroom so that students are, seeing connections between their academic selves, but also their actual lived experience every day. So that kind of brings us to the end. And what we would invite people to do, speaking of QR codes,
Sure.
is follow this one if you're interested. And I will just open the Padlet, or the Padlet that Amy and I created. I'm going to resize my screen here so you can see what's going on for our kind of like feedback follow-up opportunities. This is an actual picture of me, whereas this, Amy, is
That is me. This
okay.
is you'll see it if you add a post to this. One of the options is as far as the kind of content that you add in that +4, it says I can't draw. There you go. And then green in the middle there, and that's AI generated. You describe what you want. It gives you 4 options relatively quickly, and you choose the one. So I've used it in class as a icebreaker. That's kind of fun.
So we would invite you, by way of closing here, feel free to leave a post. You can comment on an existing post. You can create your own. If you're on the computer, just double click. You can tap it on your phone. There's a little plus button down off my screen recording. There's lots of ways to interact. And again, text, image, video, links to other things, crazy
Try to
AI
open it up.
AI art doing stuff, lots of different things that you can create. I'm going to stop my share. here. And thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, Amy, for participating. It was
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
very interesting. All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the conference.